We're going to start, you should have had first quadrant, second quadrant, fourth quadrant. What is quadrant? What does quad mean? 4. Very good. So there's 4 quadrants, and we're going to look at this third one. So let's kind of go through this together. Get this out of the way, and then we'll go to the other one. So who knows what you need to do? I should be filming. I am filming. Okay. Who knows what you need to do on this one? So you're going to put what? 3. What is your A value? -2. Is it -2?
No, 2.
Just a +2 squared. So this one's pretty easy because what is it when you go 3 times 2? It's going to be 6 squared, and I'm going to scoot it over here. 6 squared, which equals what? 36. Good. You never multiply by an exponent. It is not 12. It's 6 times 6, which is 36. And put your letter S down here. Okay. Then let's see the difference on this one. This one, the 3 was inside the parentheses. This one, it's not. So it's going to be 3 times, what is my A?
2.
How many 2's am I going to write? 2 of them. And then we can go right into the answer. Who thinks they know what it is? It's what? 12. 2 times 2 is 4, times 3 is 12. So this quadrant is actually pretty easy. So it's the letter I. And then here's another example of the same thing. This time the 8 and the B is inside. Both of those are going to get squared. So the B value this time is a what? It's a -5 squared. So what is 8 times -5?
-40.
So it's going to be -40 squared. But who knows what, by the way, what is the sign going to be?
Negative.
People, look at your exponent. Positive, good, because a negative times another negative is a positive. Yes, sir.
I know the answer.
What is it?
1,000.
Yeah, because, no, he's right.
I added.
Because 4 times 4 is 16, and you tack on 2 zeros. It's as easy as that. All right. Then, so that is the letter T. Okay. Then this one here, now the 8 is not in the parentheses. So it's going to be 8 times, what is our B value?
-5.
And how many -5s will we have?
2.
2 of them. So a -5 times another -5. Who thinks they know what the sign's going to be? Very good. You guys are good. And then I'm going to do 8 times 5 first because it comes out to a pretty number, is 40. And then 40 times 5. 4 times 5 is what? Hold on. 4 times 5. People, 4 times 5. It's 20, and you tack on an extra 0. All right, and so that is right there, the letter D. And then, so this one, let's go ahead and unstack it all. So we've got, what do we have here?
2.
The A is 2 times how many -5s are we going to have?
3.
So a -5 times a -5 times a -5. Who knows our final sign?
Negative.
Very good. Odd amount, it is negative. And then I'm going to do this strategically. 2 times 5 is 10. So I'm going to keep that in my brain. 10. Well, in fact, I'll put it right here. It's 10. What is 5 times 5?
25.
25. So what's our final answer?
It's going to be
250.
negative.
-250. And that is W. Alrighty. And then, how many 2's are we going to have?
3.
So 2 times 2 times 2 times our -5. Who knows what our sign's going to be? Negative. Odd amount, it is negative. And then Start memorizing this one. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. And then 8 times 5 is? There you go, negative 40. And then that is the B. Right. And this one here, I love math, I love. So A is 2 plus the negative 5. But before we square anything, we have to combine these somehow. Is that 2? So now we're down to adding, subtracting, and the only rule is same sign sum. Are they the same sign? No. So we do not sum. We take the difference, which is, what's 5 minus 2? Is 3. And who's going to win, the negative guys or the positive? The negatives, because there's more of them. And then that's going to be, the whole thing is squared. But if it's a square, what is our sign going to be? Positive, because I'm going to have 2 negatives that they can get married. And so all we have to worry about is 3 times 3, which is 9. And that is right there. And then this last one's going to be super easy. So we've got 2 squared plus that negative 5 squared. Okay, let's do the negative 5 first. What's negative 5 times negative 5? 25 plus 4? 29. 25 plus 2 times 2 is 4. Yeah, and that is a positive. Somebody said that. And so they're same sign sum. So it is 29. Right, and that is the letter R. I think I'm... Oh. So it should spell something. Does somebody have the whole puzzle now? Why? Okay, so we have to read the whole thing. Why did Clog walk around carrying ice cream and a pair of canaries?
It was chilling.
With? Oh, there's a saying, killing 2 birds with 1 stone.
Oh.
So this is chilling 2 birds with 1 cone.
Oh.
They're also silly. They're also silly. Okay.
Killing 2 stones with 1 bird.
There you go. Killing 2 stones with 1 bird. All right. So the only one that I'm going to go over on this side, let's flip it over, is I want to talk about, I guess I have to talk about it. Never mind, I have to go back to here. I have to go back to here. So go to the very, very front. And so today we're talking about the division rule and what that means. So I don't even like this one. For multiply or divide, I don't like this one at all. Well, I guess we have to do it. Right. So this one I'm going to set up as a fraction. And first, so the first one's going to go on top. Who knows what 10 times 10 times 10 is? Careful, we never multiply. 1,000, because it's going to be 10 times 10 times 10. 1 times 1 times 1 is 1 with 3 zeros. It is 1,000 over what's 5 times 5? 25. Okay. And so we're going to do this mentally. We're not actually going to divide, because I'm going to take that 100. How many quarters in a dollar? 4. So 100 divided by 25 is 4, and we tack on 1 what? 1 0. Your answer is 40. So let's see what they're doing over here. This is not really what I wanted to talk about, but let's go ahead and do it anyway. Okay, so let's look at this one. How many 27s are there? 2 of them. So we're not going to go 27 times 27. When you see something like that, say, no, there better be a shortcut that I can do because there's no way that I want to do that. How many 3s are there on the bottom? 3. So 1, 2, 3. So before I say anything, does anybody have an idea of something you could do without multiplying?
I know, but I don't know.
You know, but you don't know? I love that answer. Well, does 3 go into 27?
Yes.
Yeah, so we can reduce it. We're going to take this and divide them both by 3. 27 divided by 3 is 9. 3 divided by 3 is 1. And I can just leave it as a slash, which means 1. Well, doesn't this 3 go into 27? So we do the same thing. We're going to divide both of them by 3. That's reducing it. 27 divided by 3 is 9, and 3 divided by 3 is 1. And then, does 3 go into that 9? So we can divide both of these by 3 again. So 3 divided by 3 is 1. 9 divided by 3 is what? Is 3. And what happens is you just multiply what's left over. What is 9 times 3?
27.
27. And it's 27 over 1. These are all 1s, so it's just 27. That is your final answer. And then let's kind of do the same thing on this one. Okay. Who thinks they know what that top number is going to be if I go 20 times 20? What do you think?
220.
Well, it is 2.
140.
Well, okay, people. 20, that's going to be 8. All right. First of all, is that negative being squared?
No.
No, very good. So it's not being squared. And then I'm going to put 20 times 20. On the bottom, is that negative being squared? Or cubed? No. Well, because it's not in parentheses, so it's not being cubed. So it's a negative 2 times 2 times 2. And actually, I think maybe I'll do it the way that we just did this one, because I was going to make that a 400, but we don't need to. What happens with negative divided by negative? Positive. So we can get rid of that sign. Okay. And then, does 2 go into 10?
Yes.
Yes. So we can divide it by 2. 20 divided by 2 is 10. 2 divided by 2 is 1. Can we do that again with this 20? And 2? Does 2 go into 20? So we can divide them both by 2. 20 divided by 2 is 10. 2 divided by 2 is 1. Same thing. Doesn't this 2 still go into a 10? Yeah. Or I could say 100 divided by 2. What's 100 divided by 2? 50. Yeah. Or I'll go ahead and do it the way that I was about to do it. 2 goes into that, so we're dividing both of these by 2. 10 divided by 2 is 5. 2 divided by 2 is 1. So I multiply what's left. What is that final answer? It is 50. Okay. Alrighty. Now here's the rule that we need today for what we're going to do. And let me double check on my times, make sure I don't mess up. Make sure that we have until 37. Okay, so we probably will not get everything done. All right, but here is an important rule. Over here, up here, the bases were not the same. This was a 27, this was a 3. This was a 20, that was a 2. But here the bases are the same. And I want you to see this 2 different ways. Oh no, I don't want to do that. I'll come back to this one. Let's look at this one. Okay. So, I want to do a short one where it's not that long. Well, I can't help but do it. So, on this one, I'm going to show you the long way and the short way. And I think on the long way, I'm going to bring it way down here because we're not going to do these right now, is I'm going to put, how many 13s is that? 8 of them. So I'm going to put 13, 13. So you might want to write this down so you have some notes. 1, 2, 3, and we won't do this probably more than once. 1, 2, 3. It's my scam friend, I think. Yeah, okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 of them multiplied together. And then on the bottom, how many 13s are there? 2. So 13 times 13. And again, these are all multiplied. Now, kind of with the same principle that we just did, so this is my fraction line right here. What's 13 divided by 13?
1.
1. I can cross it out. What's 13 divided by 13?
1.
1. Okay. And then, how many 13s do we have left? 6 of them, and they're left on top. And so we're going to leave it in exponent form. So my final answer is 13 to the 6th. Do you agree with that? Okay. Now, we're going to do it a little bit shorter. I just wanted to show you why the rule that we're going to be doing works. So, the actual rule is you take your top exponent and you subtract your bottom exponent. And then what is 8 minus 2?
6.
So our answer is 13 to the 6th power. Yeah. So I showed you why it works. This is why it works. Because we're essentially canceling out 2 of them, and we have 6 of them left. And in fact, sometimes that's how I look at it. I look at it and say, okay, I see that I'm going to be canceling out 2 of them. How many are going to be left? 6. And where are more going to be left? On the top or the bottom? Ma'am, close your computer, sweetie. You don't need the computer. Is on the top. So sometimes you can just eyeball it. All right, 2 are going to be canceled out, and there's going to be more left on top. So it's 13 to the 6th power. Done. Then look at... It's what? Like this one. How many 24s are going to get canceled out?
4.
Are 4? 3 are going to get canceled out. And how many are going to be left?
4.
Where? On top or bottom? On the top. So it's 24 to the 4th. Or the rule is 7 minus the 3 is 4. So that's the rule we're looking at today. So then,
What is that one?
what's what?
What is the 31?
We're going to talk about that one in a second. But let's look at this one. So I'm going to set it up as a fraction because I don't like the way they have it set up. Then on this one, if I unstacked everything, how many 30s would get canceled out?
1.
Careful.
5.
5 of them. And I think you're telling me the final answer. How many would be left? 1 on top or bottom? Top, because there's more there. So it's going to be 30 to the positive 1. Then let's look. Oh, that's a multiplication. Oh, here's our multiplication rule. On multiplication, did we talk about those? This is where you add the exponents, because I've got 6 14s and I've got 8 more. So this one, when they're being multiplied, you add the exponents. So 6 and 8 is 14 of them. On this one, what's 0 and 5? So it's going to be 5. Okay. And now let's go back to these two. Alrighty. Well, let's do this one first. So this is 8 to the 0 over 8 to the 0. What does that mean?
1.
Okay, let me show you where that comes from. And then it'll make more sense. If I have 7 squared over 7 squared, what is 7 squared? What's 7 times 7? 49. Over 49. What's 49 divided by 49?
1.
Is 1. Okay, now, if I use the rule that I just said, you take your same base and you take your top exponent minus your bottom exponent, which that gives me 7 to the what power?
0 power.
7 to the 0 power. And what that means then is this number was the exact same as this number, exact same, such that when you divided it, it came out to be 1. So anything to the 0 power, don't be fooled, will always be 1 no matter what. No matter, this could be 125 to the 5th power over 125 to the 5th. If I apply my rule, it's 125, 5 minus 5, which is 125 to the 0 power. But essentially, this number is exactly the same as this. When you divide this by this, you get what? 1. So anything to the 0 power is 1. So guess what this is going to be?
1.
It's going to be 1. This is 1, this one. It's the same exact thing. Your answer is going to be 1. And then when we're looking at this one, I could use my exponent rules and go 9, 4 minus 0, which is 9 to the 4th. Or I could say that bottom number, what's 9 to the 0 power?
0.
It's never 0.
1.
It's 1. So it's 9 to the 4th over 1, which is still 9 to the 4th. So that's it on that side. So we had to review those to do these on the back. Okay. So now let's go to this one. Okay. So let's look at, I'm going to specifically look at the divisions because I don't want to confuse your brain. We get out of here. Yes.
We've been on the same page for the same packet.
I know, but we're going to learn it well. Because could I give you a test right now on this?
No.
I don't think so.
You say that, but then you really
You say that, but then, you know, I get that test grade and it's like, oh, can I do that again? Can we spend? No. Okay, so with that in mind, let me look at the hardest part. We'll go down to here. Okay. With that in mind, let's look at this one, the number 18. Okay, look at your negative 10. The bases are the same. Who knows how many of those negative 10s would get canceled out? 7 of them. In fact, I could take the top one, subtract the bottom one. Who knows what we have left?
5.
We have negative 10 to the 5th power. So, and you're right, so it's going to be, and go ahead and write it down, negative 10 to the 5th power. The only problem with this section is they want you to work it out. But we can do that. First of all, what is the exponent going to be? I'm sorry, not the exponent. What's the sign going to be, negative or positive?
Negative.
It's a negative because it's an odd amount. And then this is 10 times 10. And I'll write it here. You don't have to. But people, 10s are easy to work with because it's 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 is just 1. And you tack on how many zeros? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the number of the exponent is the number of zeros you will have. So 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is that answer there?
Yes.
It's the letter O. So for the 18, you put the letter O. Then let's look at another division one right here. Who thinks they know, not the whole answer, just in exponent form? Who thinks they know what this is going to be in exponent form? How many are going to cancel out? 4. And if so, how many are going to be left and where?
7.
7 are going to be left on top or bottom? On the top. So this is going to end up being a negative 2 to the 7. Now, we can already get our sign. Is the sign going to be negative or positive? Very good. It's going to be negative. Now this one I might want to take down here and write out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So I'm going to do this in groups of 3. 2 times 2 is 4. Times 2 is what? 8. Then I'm going to do another group of 3. 2 times 2 is 4. Times 2 is 8. So I already know 8 times 8 is what?
64.
64. And 64 times 2. 128. And there we go. So that answer is a, and you should feel bad if you're not writing this down because that means you're just taking my answer. No sé un ladrón. 128. Right. So then let's look at, we're going to do the bottom divisions. So let's look at this one right here. Again, I like to set it up as a fraction. Who thinks they know what that final answer is going to be?
Seven.
What kind of 7? Well, but x to the 7. Yeah, x to the 7. And again, I could have taken 9 minus 2, which would have told me 7, so x to the 7. So is that answer there? And yeah, that's the number 7. In fact, I'll put the number, you can fill it out later. So let's look at this number 9. we're doing some of these divisions. And then, what is the exponent on the bottom?
0.
If it doesn't have a 0, it's not a 0.
1.
It's going to be a 1. So who thinks they know how many x's are going to be canceled out and how many are left? Only one's going to be left? People, or use your actual rule. The rule is take my actual base, and I take the top exponent, write this down so you get it, minus the bottom one. What does that come to?
3.
X to the 3rd. And that is it. And so that is right here, which is the number 9. And oh, we've done all those divisions. Let's finish up these 2 sections, and I already know what I'm going to have you do. I'm not going to have you do the last section. Okay, so let's go ahead and finish this up. So now this is not division. I've got 9 x's, 2 more x's. How many x's do we have altogether? 11. So x to the 11th power. And that is this one, put a number 6. Okay. Then this one here. Base is the same, negative x to the 6 times negative x to the 6. I've got 6 of them here, 6 more of them here. How many do we have altogether? 12. So that is going to be, and I don't have room here, so that's going to be negative x to the 12th power. Which one is that? Is that the u? So that is the u, which gets the number 8. Then we've done this one. Okay, who thinks they know before I say anything? What is this one going to be? You have to put an exponent on this first. Yes?
1.
It's going to be a 1 here. Then all together, how many x's are there? X to the 8th. Good job, people. And that is this one here, so that's the number 10. Okay. And then so we finished up this, let's finish up this one. This one is too deep for today. So let's go ahead and do this one. What do we have to put on this 10 right here? A 1. So now 3 10s, 1 more. Altogether there are 10 to the 4th. But this one we have to multiply out. So how many zeros are we going to have? People? 4. So it's going to be 1 times 1 times 1 times 1, which is 1, with how many zeros? 1, 2, 3, 4. Which one is that? Is that the letter E? I'll just put it's right here. And then this one here, what exponent should I put on this negative 10? A 1. So I've got 1 negative 10. I've got 5 more negative 10s. How many do we have altogether? So we've got negative 10 to the 6th power. So this is the one that we have to undo it. If it's an even exponent, what is our sign going to be? Positive, because everybody can get married. So we know it's going to be a positive. And then how many zeros are we going to have? 6 of them. So it's going to be 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 is 1, with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And is that the W? And I'll just go ahead and put that there. It's right there. 17 is W. Then are we done with this one? We did that one. We did that one. This one here. I feel like there's one I didn't do. Okay. How many 2s are there all together?
1 or 3?
People, there's 2 here.
7.
There's 3 more here. That's 5, 6, 7. So it's 2 to the 7th. Didn't we just have a 2 to the 7th? But in the negative, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is that 128? Yeah, the bottom one we had a negative. So it's going to be a positive 128, which is the letter O for 19. Wasn't that an O also? I guess so.
Yeah.
Good question.
Yes, sir.
It does not have like what are they called? A pound tooth on the like on that side. But there's a pound on the other side. You have to give it like a 1.
Which one are you talking about? Which problem number?
I'm on number 10.
You're on number 10?
Yeah.
You have to, we had already done that. We put a 1 on it. So stick with me because we did all of these down, all these. Here's your job, people. Your job is to do, I think you can do it, all the top problems. All the top problems. Oh, some of these are ugly though. Let me see where this comes from.
Just the first 2.
You want to do the first 2?
Yeah.
Do the first 2. Do the first 2, because then I don't have to explain that
What can
much.
I see number 10?
It's right here.
So I am. Okay, thank you.
So tomorrow I'm going to collect these.
Oh, honestly.
You're going to do the first section and the second. Everything else should be done. We'll do these tomorrow together unless you want to go ahead and try them yourself. Okay? That is it. The section and the section.